Okay, so here is our little village that we've been seeing every single stream for the last few weeks. But this might be the last day you're going to see this first all the time. Is my webcam being weird? I think it's okay, isn't it? Well, yes, because as you can see in the title, we're going to be starting a new scene today. We're going to be doing a forest dungeon. And this is a question actually. Are forests classed as dungeons? I was thinking that earlier because dungeons are meant to be like, you know, dungeons. Forests aren't typical dungeons, but I see it as a dungeon because, well, whatever, it's a dungeon to me. It's such a beautiful village. Thank you, Rex. And I hope we can make an equally beautiful forest. And this is what our first poll's going to be on, guys. And I think we should start it as soon as possible, don't you? I bet you can't guess what this poll's going to be called. Has anyone got any guesses? Just looked on Twitch and saw you were making a game. I also made like 5 games. Did you say what engine did you use? That's awesome. I admire anyone that makes a game, especially 5. With me, I've always been the sort of person that started a game, but I've never I've never managed to finish. But this time it's different. This game will be completed and it's going to be a blast. And this is something I'm really enjoying doing as well. And I'm not putting immense amounts of pressure on myself with this project because it's in RPG Maker, which is a fairly easy software to use, and a lot of it is already assets that are existing. I'll have to create some sometimes, but a lot of them will just be edits or existing assets. So it's nice, and doing it in the community too takes the pressure off a lot as well, because we come up with the story together and it's not just me that has to. So it stops like any kind of risk of burnout and that, just because it's so fun. Depends on how it is set up, to be honest. Dungeons can have forest in them, makes it a forest dungeon. Exactly, that's how I see it. And I mean, because dungeon, I was thinking like underground, somewhere with corridors. Like, that's a traditional dungeon. But I see anything that involves where you find battle encounters as a dungeon, I do. And that could be any area out in the open, and that includes a forest. So yeah, a forest can be a dungeon. I think it depends, yeah. What is the tree going to be now? And that's the poll. Well, you're actually wrong, Rex. And that is going to be a poll we're going to do. Probably this week, actually. But I figured that today's stream, we have 2 more polls that are more relevant to what we're doing. Because we're starting a new forest dungeon today, the polls are going to be based on that today and not so much about what's going on in Lakefall. So, but the tree is a really good one, and I decided last week we will need to find out what we're going to call this tree at some point, because it's gonna give a lot more ideas for curse words and that, because we was doing curse words last week, and you know how you go, oh god, oh goodness. A lot of words in our world, curse words, are very like related to Christianity and the whole oh god and Jesus Christ and all that. But we're doing we're trying to make it match the culture of Lakefall, but with our curse words here. So knowing the name of the tree will really help give us some more ideas for what our curse words could be. But we've had some really good ones last week. I don't know if you guys follow Raindrop Chronicles on Twitter, but everything gets posted on there, the results of the polls and stuff with the screenshots. And was it Friday? I think, it was Saturday. On Saturday I posted the curse word results. We had loads, and we'll be using those in dialogue. It'll be fun. RPG Maker XP VXA Snevy, awesome Zayda. It's great to meet a fellow RPG Maker person. I personally think it needs to be used more. I want everyone to make a game like this. It's so fun. lurking a bit to get food. I hope you enjoy your food, Sweelo. Let us know what you're putting in your tums. Traditional dungeons are pretty limited though, unless you're Final Fantasy in a small cave is the size of the planet. Yeah, it limits creativity, doesn't it? Oh dear, see what I mean? No, our background's disappeared on our alerts. Thank you for the follow though, I appreciate that, Cobra. We usually had this little dark sort of bat inspired background, but it's weirdly disappeared today. I blame Streamlabs. What monsters are going to be in the forest? No. You're going to be shot, Rex, because you have no clue. You're going to be shot. But the ones that you're mentioning are ones we are going to do, but just later this week. My last game has already been published. Going to release a big expansion this summer. That's awesome. Are you actually selling your game? This game that we're doing is like it's a free product. It's going to be released chapter by chapter, and it'll be put out. Probably I might make a little trailer each time a new chapter comes out, and yeah, it's going to be free, for obvious reasons, because there's going to be a lot of, well, obviously there's a lot of pre-existing assets I'm using, even though some of those assets are like fine to use for commercial products. I've just got no intention of making that. But I've always wanted to do a commercial project one day. So this is kind of my experience. I'm gonna use this project to like as my experience before I start the serious real deal one. So yay. Now it's free. Awesome. That's cool. I'm gonna have to, if you come in the Discord though, Zayda, feel free to post a link or something in there with your game. We have a game discussion channel, so that would be relevant for that. But just if you want to, that would be cool. I'd love to see it. Okay guys, so we're going to start the poll. Let's get Discord up. And Cobra, thank you for joining the Discord. If you need some help with the project, feel free to ask. I'd be happy to help. Yeah, it's nice. Like someone helped me with the because we did a mini map last week, which is really, really fun. I'm really glad we've added it, but I did come stuck at one thing, and somebody in chat helped me out with that a bit and guided me with what I had to do, which was really awesome. Because sometimes you are going to come a little bit stuck, especially if you're not an expert coder or anything like me. And the RPG Maker forum is really, really good as well. I've noticed for helping out heaps. Thank you, Zayda. I'd make an RPG Maker game for fun. The problem with the free versions though is how limited they are, plus you don't know any sort of coding and suck at story progression and character development. Well, I believe in you, Demi. And it doesn't even have to be perfect first time. I mean, I'm somebody that loves being creative, and I'm a sucker for that sort of thing, character development, etc. I wouldn't say I'm like an exceptional writer or anything, but I'm okay. And doing this with the community really helps, because so some of you guys are going to come up with amazing ideas that I'd never come up with in a million years, and that's why it's so cool. We're going to push this to its limits. Zayda, thank you for joining. But yeah, we're here in the Discord, and you'll see we have a video game discussion section here. So that's probably the most relevant for if you want to discuss your game or any game, really. Zayda, thank you for the follow. Super appreciate that. Yeah, there's a. I'll actually put the link for you in the Discord now. Video. Right, game discussion is where you can post your Steam link. There you go. So if you click on that, that should lead you to it. Okay, guys, I hope you're ready for this poll. I haven't even said what the poll's going to be yet. How exciting. Right, so the first one that we're doing is going to be a community poll. The second poll of the day is going to be a voting only poll. I'm going to just delete the last poll. I've took all the screenshots I need for archive reasons. So that can go now. Carol the Barrel's here, isn't she? Yep. Carol the Barrel is a necessary bot for this. She's lovely. Carol the Barrel's in the game as well, for those that don't know. Okay. Right. I'm going to reveal what this poll's going to be now. Let's zoom in so you guys can see the text. We always have fun doing polls, don't we? And this poll will be open for over 24 hours as well. So it's not just for this stream. We're going to keep the polls open for another day. Okay, so the poll is going to be, what should this forest dungeon that we're going to be creating today going to be called? Don't say any ideas yet, guys. Wait until the poll's up and then you can submit them. But have a little think. But one thing about this though, this is a nice forest. It's pretty pleasant. It's summer. It's going to look a lot like Lightfall because we're using the same tile set. So I am going to make sure the name is quite a nice sounding forest name. And I've got one idea myself, which I'm going to submit first and before we open the poll. Let's write it then. Okay. Poll. Hi, Sketchy Spawn. Not knowing kind shouldn't be a barrier to making games. And yes, Sketchy raises a very good point. Like, I think don't let anything hold you back. I'm not an expert, far from, in any of these things. I don't really know code. I wouldn't say I'm like an expert at any, but I want to do it. I want to like challenge myself, and I think if the determination's there and the interest, then it doesn't matter if you don't know it. You can learn. I believe in you. Okay, what should the forest dungeon? And yeah, I know what you mean about free versions being limited. This one that I'm using is the full version, and I got it on sale. It is pretty pricey when you get the full one. With the sale, I find there's a really good discount when they do one. What should the forest dungeon? I'm going to say south of Lightfall because some people might not even know where this dungeon is. I just want to be specific. So just to show you guys where this dungeon is, it will be over this bridge over here, and then it will carry on south. So yes, and we are going to start it today, but I bet we're not going to do much. I bet I'd say that most of the creation of this forest dungeon will probably be on Wednesday's stream, and so yeah, we'll probably just like do the basic beginning of it today, because a lot of today's discussion is going to be the polls and thinking about how we're going to make this look and stuff. So it's not something that's going to be done fast. I want to think about things, about what makes a good forest dungeon. I want to plan. Okay, right, I'm going to just write a couple of sentences describing what the forest is going to be, so it can help me come up with some name ideas. The forest will look like, I'd say we'll use the same tile set as like, that makes no sense. I'll just say look like rather than talking in-game dev language. This is the very first dungeon field. What's the difference between a dungeon and a field out? Because I always thought field is what, like would be an open dungeon. And dungeon, oh, I don't know. I won't care about terms anymore. I'll just call it a dungeon. This is the very first dungeon in the game. Now I'll just put field areas. So it will be quite pleasant. Yeah, first ones are always really nice, aren't they? Well, not always, but it's good to have the easiest enemies. Okay, the forest will look like Lightfall, had the same colour palette and bright and sunny atmosphere. This is the very first dungeon field day in the game, so it will be quite pleasant. So let's have some suggestions for some nice pleasant forest names. So I feel like it's important to say that because it's not going to fit with the whole look and vibe if like someone says gives it a really spoopy name when it's not. Like, it's not got that look to it. But I mean, we might have a spoopy forest in the future, of course. I'm sure there'll be a chance to do another dungeon that's more spoopy. The barrier for me is more than anything is my PC being bad and making it hard to have a wiki open, RPG Maker, YouTube tutors, Discord all at once. Yeah, that's understandable. But yeah, I mean, maybe one day then. I know the feels of having a PC that can't handle things. Mine's getting old now too, and we have a bit of lag sometimes, but I am managing. VX or MV? This is MV, Zada. I've used MV and I used 2000, 2003, and I think XP. But then I had a massive break from RPG Maker after that, and I never played any of the more recent ones since MV. Do you like MV, Zada? Okay, so now I'm going to copy and paste this bit. Vote or add suggestions by going to submissions here. The poll will close tomorrow, the 23rd of April at 6 PM BST, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Get rid of right, so let's get the Discord back up so you guys can see. Get rid of that heart reaction. Okay, so I'm going to open the submissions now for this one, and then I'm going to put it as a command in chat so you guys can go to the link and easily add suggestions. Okay, so I'm going to do mine. I've only got one that I'm going to submit. I might think of some more later, but for now I've got one. So community polls. And mine, for a nice sounding forest name, is... Has that gone in? It has. It was a little bit, took a bit of time, but it's gone in now. Okay, so let's get this link as a command, guys. appears the title. But we will be doing another poll as well. But we've just got this one for now. Evergreen, yes. Then it's going to be just be green if it's that one. But yeah, so I think the one that I've put is sounds like a pretty forest with flowers. So anything that has those kind of really like, oh, this is a really relaxing, pretty forest kind of sounding name are the like ideal ones for this, I'd say. Thank you for the suggestion, Benjamin. Keep them coming, guys. So this is the poll. What should the forest dungeon south of Lakefall be called? Vote or add suggestions. Lakefall was a pretty fitting name. I believe it was me that thought of Lakefall, but it worked because there's a lake and there's a waterfall. So it's not too hard to come up with names. They're quite simple, really. But yay, we have plenty of time. I always like putting the polls up quite early on in stream so that we can get the votes all in and the suggestions. But it is open for 24 hours. Well, a bit longer than that. I feel like making a map. Yeah, I need to, because I'm very new to this whole thing, really. The last time I made a map / dungeon in RPG Maker was when I was about 12. And trust me, it wasn't very good. I am probably going to look at some little guides on what a good forest dungeon is, and any feedback from you guys on what you think makes a good forest dungeon would be cool too. So I can take those things into consideration. Wobblewoods. That sounds, well, it sounds quite cute actually. A mixture of cute and like all the trees will topple over and fall on us because they're wobbly. But yeah, keep them coming, guys. I probably want to get this second poll up soon as well. I bet you can't guess what the second poll's going to be. It's going to be, let's look at this again. So it's going to be really interesting to do this because we're going to have to make sure that this bridge and waterfall are there at the top when we enter onto the next screen. And it's thinking how, well, we'll have the waterfall coming down and the bridge is going to have to lead somewhere. So what I'm going to probably do is have a north, west, east and south section, like split it into segments rather than have it as one whole big giant dungeon. The main reason for that is because of the mini map I've designed. They all do have to be the same size really to make it easier on me. So I'm probably going to make, what's Lakefalls? It's 60 by 40, so I'm probably going to make them all 60 by 40, so we'll have a few. We'll start off at the north obviously, and then I know that the quest that we're doing, the main quest, the reason why we're going into the forest, we have to head to the west side. But there'll probably be side quests, like a lot of these NPCs here in this village will give side quests that will also involve trekking into the forest again and doing other things and other tasks there. So it'll be fun to like come up with some side quests as well once we've actually, I think once we've designed the forest and it's already the enemies are set up, and maybe when we've like done the main quest as well, or at least done the bulk of the design for that, we can start thinking of side quests as well. And I've got a couple of ideas. That will probably have a submission poll for the side quest too. And Vivi, what about Vivi Rex? Should have more Easter eggs in the game? Yeah, like what is your favourite Easter egg in a game, guys? Was that a hard question to ask? I want to know what everyone's favourite is to inspire me. I'm sure we will have some over time. This is. I want this to be a pretty lengthy game, to be honest. I want there to be a lot of content there. And another thing we have to do is we do have to have a conversation with Carol the Barrel as the hero leaves. I think what I'm probably going to do is, as he walks across the bridge and he's about to leave, Carol's going to walk up to him and be like, I'm joining you. And we've got a bit of dialogue prepared for how that's going to go. I wanted to actually do that dialogue with Carol and add it this weekend, but I never got round to it. That's what I mean about only ever being 50% ready. I'm like, I've never ever started a stream of this and thought I've done 100% of what I've needed to do. I've always thought, oh, there was that, I didn't do that. And yep, that's the nature of a game dev. That's really subjective and based on the series, usually, if they have them. Like FF, it's past characters information. DQs usually references to others, and the DB styles, etc. Your favourite Easter egg is when the creators have themselves in the game or have an in-game character talk about the game. Well, did you know that I'm in the game, guys? Who's seen me? If you've had a thorough peek of our little project link here, you might have eventually found that I'm in the game. So here. That's me. That's my character. So we have a character sheet basically for every major character in the game that is a person in this community. We're not doing this for just the random NPCs or this. I only do the character sheets for people in the community when they make a character. So we have 11 so far. There's more on the way. People are grinding the hours in stream so they can have a character. And we're eventually going to meet all these guys. They're going to gradually get introduced throughout the story. Maybe one of these you will see very soon. Maybe I want to keep it a surprise, but we've got our main story here and we like getting through this. Once we've done the actual forest dungeon, we'll be virtually, and once we've interacted with the sister, we'll be virtually really nearly ready to start the next section, the next part. And I'm thinking of introducing a character when we write the next bit. And I'll do the same thing again. I'll write a couple of sentences. Probably between 3 to 5 lines at most. And then let you guys finish it and we'll see what's the winning submission. Then that's the bit that excites me most. Wait, you're in the game. I know, right? But yeah, so we do fill that criteria. We had the chance for people to be in the game. I felt that was something that was essential because everyone's excited about making a character. Most people, anyway, at the idea of it. I know that Silent and Lost is excited for his because it's an excuse to make a character that can be like related to Rex's character in some way. Wahaha. Okay, so oh my goodness, guys, here I am rambling on, and you've all come up with these submissions. Oh my goodness, holy butts! But yes, we haven't been getting the votes yet, but we're gonna get them. Wispy words, cool. I think all of these are pretty nice. I'm looking forward to seeing which one wins. But don't worry, like even if you can't think now, if you think of one in another like 3 hours, another 10 hours, this pod will still be open. Although I do shut the submissions at night time when I'm asleep, because I have to turn my computer off and the bot has to go off as well then. But I always put up a note. I always like say submissions currently closed, blah blah. But we'll be open again in the morning. And then I just open them again the next day for a few hours before the poll shuts. But I really want to start the next poll. Are you guys hyped? Because this next one's going to be a voting only poll. But it's so important. This one is like so important, guys. And I might have gave you a clue last week about this poll. I did mention it and that we would be doing a poll for it. But it's like absolutely vital, this one is. And all this one requires is a vote. It's a choice between two things. But I am going to like briefly talk about each of those two options, the pros and cons of them underneath the poll. Okay, should we get ready? I forgot how to set up this poll, so you'll have to bear with me while I try and figure it out. I was tempted to make a jokes like Forest Dungeon 1 of Texas, but you was a good boy, I know. You wasn't the first time we did this. Remember when we named Lakefall and you said Chicago? Imagine if that won. You would have trolled our game. Random versus map enemies. Ben's got it. Ben's got it. How did you know, Ben? But yeah, this is an important poll simply because we're making a dungeon, which means there's enemies here. And obviously we're going to know. We're going to want to decide how we're going to handle these enemies. There's RPGs, modern and retro ones. Either use one or the other. So it's all about this. And I don't want to sway anybody at all. I'm not going to vote till the end for what I want. But I will be putting like a couple of lines describing why each of them are good and why each of them might not be good, just in case people don't know. So let's go. I need to just test this, guys, because I forgot how to do it. I think all it involves is this, but let me double check. Oops, I'm wrong. I think I have to put / poll in front. Silly me. Yeah, that's it. So this is super easy then. Right. / poll. Hi Liquid, how you doing today? Frenemies. Hope you're having a good Easter, Liquid. How have you been? Have you had chocolate? Have you filled up your tum-tum? What are you smirking at, Mr. Careless Rex? Okay, poll. What sort of battle encounters should we have? I'm very, very curious how this poll's going to go, because the last time we had a voting only poll and we had a choice between two things, it was basically a tie right up until the end. It was the one about, are we going to have a silent protagonist or a talking protagonist? And it was so close. I think each of them had 8 votes. And then I think later on in the day, there was one more vote for the silent one over the talking one. So the silent protagonist ended up winning. Hiya, I admire that majestic accent. Thank you very much. That's super sweet of you. You know, I really, really like compliments on my accent. It's my favourite type of compliment. So, simply because I grew up being insecure about my voice. So, not like majorly or anything, but I always knew I had a strong accent. I kind of wished I didn't back then. Someone would always mention that my accent was strong, and that kind of compliment, well, when someone says you've got a strong accent, I don't think that's a compliment, because especially when it's coming from a stranger. But yep, thank you very much. So random encounters, I think on map is the right term, isn't it? I'd say it is. I can't think of any other way to say that. Okay, have we worded it all right? What sort of battle encounter do we have? Yeah, I'm just making sure because last time I did this, I did a little bit of a typo. Just a tiny one. Oh my goodness, guys, it's here. The poll's here. Feel free to vote now if you want. I'm gonna put a link on the bot for those that aren't in the Discord so they can get there quicker. But before I do that, I want to write down the pros and cons of each of them. You could wait until I've done this before you decide if you want, but you are totally free to vote if you'd like. But in case some people aren't sure what they want to vote for, I need a bullet point. Copy and paste that. Okay, so first I'm going to write the pros and cons of random encounters. So, because obviously there's some people in this community that don't really play JRPGs and they might really not know the difference between random and on map. So I feel that this post here is going to be just to let people know in case they're unsure what I mean. I'm going to laugh if on map encounters absolutely wipes the floor with random encounters. I really will. Okay, so random encounters, the pros, easier. Well, it's easier to implement for a start. It's a lot easier than on map. Less clutter on the maps. Don't be biased by this because there are some cons for it too. The cons are pretty bad as well. They've both got their pros and their cons. It was very good. I had a potluck brunch with friends, took a nap, watched Game of Thrones with our friends. Oh my goodness, Liquid, I'm so mad that you watched it before me. How can I cope? Oh gosh, I'm watching it tonight and I'm dying. I'm actually dying. But I'm ridiculously hyped. I can't contain it. On map encounters, you overworld everywhere, not a safe place. Well, this is what I'm putting now because you guys might not know what I mean. So when you've read this, you'll totally understand what I mean. But basically, I'll just describe now. Did Chrono Trigger do it? I know that Persona did. Well, Persona 5 did anyway. But it's basically when you're in a dungeon and instead of random encounters with every several steps you take, like in most Final Fantasy games, it's you actually see the enemy on the map walking around and you run into them and then it takes you into the battle. So it does. If this one wins, I might not necessarily have a sprite of the actual enemy on the field, but I might have a silhouette of its shape or something, and I will use varied ones to like distinguish between the type of enemy that the player's going to run into. But we'll say less clutter on the maps creates intensity while walking through maps because you never know when you'll be attacked. Which I personally like random encounters for that reason, but some people might think, no, I don't like it. I don't like that. I don't like not having that sort of control, which is understandable too. So this is where we talk about the cons, and also I think I should put bullet points for each of these. Cons. Can be frustrating. I know that a lot of people get really peed off with random encounters and gives a negative incentive to explore. If you think of any pros and cons for each, feel free to say, guys, because I might miss some, but I've got a list, so I made a list this morning and I probably got most of them covered, I think. And that is one thing about random encounters that can bug people. They feel like they've got to get out of the dungeon as fast as possible, and it stops them looking in the little nooks and crannies in fear that there's going to be a random counter that pops up on them. I personally really enjoy grinding and battles, so that doesn't scare me off, but I know it does scare some people off. So that's the pros and cons for random encounters. Now we're going to talk about odd map encounter pros and cons. I want to make sure I've done it the same. Chrono Trigger did it too. Yes, I thought, did Chrono Trigger do it? I think I definitely remembered that there was enemies on the map in that game. It wasn't random encounters. If you guys know any other JRPGs that did on map ones instead of random, then definitely let me know, because I'd love to look into those, because especially if that one ends up winning Nepal, which it's pretty much wiping the floor with random encounters at the moment, but we've still got a long way to go. It's not closing yet. You never know, random encounters might pull a surprise. Final Fantasy 13 did it too, but the game usually gives you a way out, like no encounters, or in the games where they walk around you can run past them. They aren't bad, but they annoy me the most in RPG games. I like the live combat battles like in Secret Maker, where you move on the map without any sort of battle encounter animation. Well, this will take you into a battle screen a bit like Persona, but so it's not an actual action thing. It will take you into another screen, but it saves that worry about, you know, having to walk a certain amount of steps and be like, oh crap, not another battle again, if you know what I'm trying to say. Most of the Tales of games in the very early Zeldas have set locations, mob gears and encounters. I never really played the Zelda games, so I don't know, but Rex did, didn't you? Yeah, I'm not, I mean, we haven't really discussed what the battle system is going to be like yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite traditional how we're going to do it, but with some interesting plugins that are available we'll probably add, just to make it a bit more fun than the vanilla. But we'll see, because we haven't covered that yet. We haven't made any decisions about how that's going to go, and that's something that will probably be discussed very soon, because that's what we're coming up to. And I know that action battle can be done in RPG Maker, but it requires a lot of intense scripting, and it's not really how the software does its battle systems, from what I'm aware. I play tons of RPG games, so I've seen all 3 encounter battle types. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool, guys. I mean, I've probably not played hardly as many compared to you guys. I've not played any of the Tales series, but I played Chrono Trigger, and it makes sense that had on map encounters, because the actual battle happened on the map. But there's a lot of games out there, such as Persona 5, that still had the enemies on the map, but they take you into a separate screen. And I think that worked really well too, and that's kind of the sort of thing I have in mind for this, if we do get map encounters. Hi Kung, how are you doing? Finally here for stream, and not only for liking. Well, it's awesome to see you, Kung. We're doing some more polls again. We've already got a community poll up, so if you do ! Poll, that will lead you to that one. And this is our second poll. So this one is an interesting one. Have you ever played the Shining Force series? I haven't, no. I've not actually heard of that one, Liquid. I've heard of the Tales ones, obviously. I've just never got around to playing them. Don't get me wrong, the random encounters, although I can definitely see why they frustrate some people, it holds a dear place in my heart. like all my favourite Final Fantasy games, plus my favourite JRPG ever, Lost Odyssey, use random encounters. So I'll always have a bit of a soft spot because of that. Okay, pros. The biggest one, I think, is that it gives the player more freedom and control. And and a choice whether they want to fight an enemy or not. Shows whether there is a rare or dangerous enemy, which could be a pro or a con, I guess. But I think it's a pro, because say if like you're farming for something, or you're actually wanting to avoid the dangerous ones for some reason, then you know from, even if I use like silhouettes, you'd know from the shape that it's a different one and a more rare or scary one. Hi Best, how you doing today? It's good to see you. Hope you're having a good Easter. How have you been? That's so rude. Someone punched my egg into a lot of pieces and I ate every single bit. Who did that, Wheelo? That's Wheelo's egg. How dare they? Always fun. The polls are super fun, I agree, Kung. I mean, technically you could do both with the game. Hidden random encounters in certain areas and on-screen encounters. Yeah, I mean, some games do that. Like they had the random encounters in the dungeon areas, but when it comes to mini-bosses and important enemies, then it's an on-screen. You actually see the enemy. But it depends how the poll does. Like say if on map encounters it really wipes the floor with random encounters, then I'm not gonna add any random encounters into the game, because I'll see that there wasn't really any interest there. So we'll judge at the time when the poll closes, and say if it was a tie and ended up being a tie, then I might think we could do a mixture. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. The combat relied heavily on where you moved your characters and had different ways they could move based on the type of unit they were: flying robots, centres, rogues, knights, etc. Oh, interesting. I might Google that, just out of pure curiosity, Liquid. But there's like still modern games, like what was it called again? The one on the Octopath Traveler, that's it. I never played that, but I saw gameplay of it, and that still has a very traditional JRPG battle system. But how did they do it? Was that random encounters, or did they use because I really don't remember that part, but I do know they had quite a traditional JRPG style battle system. You bet it was Wheelo. Hi Julian, how you doing? Oh no, I'm not vomiting again. I'm gonna have to clean that up. Are you eating an egg right? Who's eating an Easter egg right now? Because I'm jelly. I haven't had one Easter egg yet, but I'll be having mine after my din-dins and I can't wait. Okay, so I'm writing down the pros of random encounters, the cons, and the pros and cons of on-map encounters at the moment, guys. And once I've done this little list, I'm going to put a link to this poll in chat too, so you guys can vote. But some of you have already gone in there and voted, I see. Cons. Now, what are the cons of on-map encounters? I'd say it's a little harder for me to implement compared to the random encounters. It's more work for me, but it's worth it if it means it's good, if you know what I mean. If it makes it better and let the game design and mechanics less frustrating, then it's totally worth it. Easier for players to skip battles and be under levels. Yeah, that can happen, because that's my fear. If we have it on map encounters, everybody will just run away from all the monsters. Would you guys do that? Would you? Let's get this in. I was looking thinking, does this look tidy enough? How does that look, guys? I don't think we're going to get much better format than this. So we'll just settle with that. And when is the poll going to close? Okay, so it's going to close at the exact same time as the other poll. Actually, hang on. Let's do it. Let's put that in the other message. It looks really messy like that. So we'll put it above here. There we go. So this poll is like this one. It closes. Oh my goodness, guys. Don't forget to vote. We've got a poll. We need more votes. We've got quite a few submissions, but feel free to submit more if you've got any. But votes are what's important for this one. We need more votes. And I'm going to give you guys a link to this one too. So I'm going to get my chat bot up and add a new poll. One of the RPG Maker games I tried a while ago on Steam had a day-night system and a night encounters where random and during the day they were displayed on stream. You thought, I can't even talk today. Displayed on stream, displayed on screen. I thought it was pretty damn neat. That's pretty unique, actually. I'm not going to copy any game because I kind of want to be original too. But I agree that that's quite an interesting concept. But like I said, at the moment, it's looking like Random Encounters has absolutely no interest because that one vote is not from anybody, that's just from the bot. So if Random Encounters has no appeal to anyone at all and our Mapping Encounters is a very strong win, then I'm reluctant to even consider adding Random Encounters at all. So we'll see, guys. We'll see how it goes, and on Wednesday we'll know. It'll all be clear what route we're going then, and we might even start thinking about enemies on Wednesday and what enemies we can have in the forest. But we'll see, because that might be more towards the end of the week or the start of next week. We'll see how well we get with the design of the forest map first. But let's add another poll command. I might have to call this poll 1 actually, because yeah, I want a different command for each. Poll 2. Okay, bear with me, guys. Just getting this command done. Okay, so oh, we got a vote. I'm not going to check anything. I'm not going to see who's voted for who, what, or create any bias. We'll wait and see. Okay, guys, so the poll command should be up now. Poll 2. What sort of banning count should we have? Random or mapping encounters. So there you go, guys. If you want a quick link if you can't be bothered to get to the Discord and go do it the long way, then we have the link right there in chat, and that should take you straight to this screen. People shouldn't be able to. Yeah, people can't send messages or anything in this channel. It's just purely for voting. So we got 2 polls today. We have poll 2, which is that one, and oops, poll 1. Look at me messing up my chat. part 1, which is what should the forest dungeon south of Lakefall be called. So for those of you that haven't seen Lakefall, this is Lakefall. It's pretty much been the focus of this game so far. It's the first little village that we've got, and the forest that we're thinking of the name of now and about to create is beyond this bridge. So hi Pipo, we're going to begin it, guys. I don't honestly know where to begin. I am very unprepared. I was very prepared for the pause, but unprepared for the actual design of the forest. So I need to, this isn't probably gonna, there's probably not gonna be a great deal of progress with the design of this today, but it'll be nice to consider some things and make a start. I want to show you guys something I've done to the mini-map though. I did put a screenshot Saturday up of it on the Twitter, but I've added some more icons, like just to show what the buildings are, and that would kind of be the pattern with every mini-map when we go to a village. And it'll be especially handy for when we get to bigger villages and towns, I'd say. A lot of buildings, people are going to want to know immediately where the inn is or where the item shop is, and I think those kind of those icons help a bunch to get to places quicker. And I've noticed that's how a lot of RPGs do it. The Witcher 3 did it. So I might show you guys that now. I'm going to turn the sound off because when I press the test play, sometimes the game music comes on full blast, and I might need to mute that. My hair's getting so long, everyone. It's like nearly touching my butt. It needs a trim. I'm really fond of the music we're going to be adding to this game that I've found, but we can't have it playing right now while we test play because it will clash with this Final Fantasy music we've got in the background. And I can't bother to turn off the YouTube video every single time. So, ooh, need to put my controller in. My goodness, I'm getting a bit peckish. Egg sandwich didn't fill me up. Here we go. So, are we going to play as Jesus or... Yeah, let's play as Jesus. He's kind of our default character for me. Okay, so this is our mini-map. We have the little yellow player indicator that shows where the player is, and some of the icons might look a bit... You might think, what's that? Is that a trash can? That one there? Then you'll get used to the icon and recognise it eventually as the tavern. So, you know what I mean? Sometimes I've noticed, I thought that in games before, I've thought, what's that icon mean? But then once you know the meaning of it, when you see it again, you know what it is and what it symbolises. And the main thing is those icons tell you what the building is, which is definitely going to be more useful for bigger towns and bigger villages. I think, imagine a town with like 50 buildings and you just want to know where the item shop is, or, you know, it's going to take forever. Imagine having to look through all those buildings and not knowing where it is. I mean, you could look at the map and see the sign, and I suppose, but some people don't want to do that. Completely missed the handle, so that's why you was confused. I mean, I'm sure I could do a bit of a clearer beer to make it more obvious, but it's you know what I mean. I didn't make the icons too big. I thought the one that people get confused at, if anything, would be the one for the inn, the bed, because it's the bed from that perspective, the vertical perspective rather than a horizontal one. But I think I can tell it's a bed anyway, but I didn't know whether you guys would. It's not your fault I missed it. It's fine. Honestly, even if they look a bit weird and unrecognisable, that's not really a big deal because, like I said, once you know what it is, you know then. And when you see that icon again in another town, you'll know. You'll think instantly, oh, that's the tavern. I recognise that icon, and you know what I mean. People get used to it eventually. I thought it all the time in games. I thought I don't get what that icon's meant to mean, but then I've understood eventually. But also, somebody last time mentioned the, what do you call it again? Trigger, that's it. Because sometimes people might not want to see the mini-map. Not everybody's a fan of a mini-map like me. Some think it gets in the way. And that's very easy. I've originally I had it as 2 buttons, but now it's the same button. So it's just L1 on the controller to turn it on and off every time. And on the keyboard, it's well, I forgot what key it is for the keyboard, but it's one of them. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. You like that a lot? Yeah, I took that into consideration. I think it was you, wasn't it, Rax, that suggested that? And I did it. Took a bit of messing about, but it was not too hard. It was not too bad. And so yeah, as you can see, we have a white exclamation mark on the map. Obviously, when you guys play the game, it'll be in full screen, and that map will look a little bit larger than it does on the stream preview. The good thing is I did test it. This game I will allow the option to play in different resolutions, I'm hoping. And I did test in like a 720p resolution, and the map is fine. I don't need to make any edits to it or the positioning of the player indicator, which was a real relief for me. So if you go in here, we see the exclamation mark for the quest, and there will be side quests eventually, so there'll be little question marks on the map for the side quests, but we haven't done any so far, so we haven't got any yet. Could set it to where people can map their own controls layout. Yeah, that's a good idea too. I'm sure there's a plugin for that. So not everybody will want the L1 as the button maybe, but I figured it was useful. I originally did have it as square when I did it, but there's a problem with it being square because square is dash. Yay, look, it's running fast. So for all you people that are impatient, you just press the square button and make them run. But yeah, that's definitely something to consider too, Demi. Sorry for being a noob. Will you be able to play this on PC as well? This is a PC game. PC is the platform for this. It's the only platform. It's not on anything else. I am aware that it can be ported to mobile, but I can't see how this is going to work on mobile. It's so, you know what I mean, a little screen. I've never been fond of mobile games for that reason, but anyway. Yeah, but this is the quest. We trigger a quest. Oops, we can walk over and sneak, and we've got to change that. I think like PC is like something everyone has basically got. I don't know. I don't think I've met anyone that hasn't got a PC on Twitch. Am I wrong? Do any of you guys not have a PC? Some people might go on Twitch mobile, maybe, I guess, and not have a PC. Oh, so you have the control connected to a PC. I do. Yep. I just because luckily RPG Maker gives the option for keyboard or controller, which is really handy. So yeah, it's not on console. This isn't or anything. But yeah. So this guy, we trigger the quest. I changed a little bit of the dialogue from what I did on Friday's stream, because some of it didn't read as smoothly as I wanted it to. But there's some little conversation options. So although we do have a silent protagonist, we will have these kind of things now and again, just to break the dialogue up, so it's not just a massive endless lines of text. And then he says, "How rude of me, my name is Nigel Buckington." So he didn't have his name tag up before because we didn't know his name. But now he's introduced himself to us, he's got a name tag. If they don't, then they just won't have a name tag. So yeah, he triggers the first quest. And then I've got a little quest accepted thing that comes up, and that does make a sound effect. Oops, I need to change something there. Okay, so the quest, when it's being accepted, at the moment I have it on as a sort of 50% transparent setting for any accepted quests on the map. To just distinguish between those and quests that haven't been accepted yet. Whether that will be what we keep forever, I don't know, but for now, that's what the icons are going to be. I could have made it a coloured icon, but that would make it stand out too much, I think. Oh no. I felt the transparent kind of worked well for a quest in progress. And then when the quest is complete, probably a green tick or something. Might be one. You're a PC person, yay! Hurrah! And so yes, we have the journal and the quest is here. I'm not sure we're going to call it Lost Sister. I might... Because is she lost? Well, Nigel's making it seem like she's lost. So I might call it something else, yeah, but I'm not sure. I'm going to also probably be changing the default icons that are currently in this journal. And this is just like tells you about the quest, what the objectives are, and I haven't filled that in yet, as you can see. Hi Seth Strife, how are you doing? It's good to see you, and thank you. I hope you had a fabulous Easter. My tummy's rumbling like crazy. I might have to get some milk soon. Okay, so what went wrong? Yeah, there was a little bug. I noticed that exclamation mark isn't disappearing again. Had that bug last time and I figured it out, so I just need to do it for that one too. But yeah, it goes like a little bit transparent once the quest has been accepted. And then next step is doing the quest, I guess. So this is where there's going to be Carol the Barrel's going to approach. I'd say I'm just trying to think how Carol the Barrel can approach, because at the moment she's all the way up there. The only thing I can think of is moving the barrel somewhere else so that we don't have to just jarringly have the barrel move from there to there. I mean, eventually we could do a walking animation for Carol, but right now that would take a bit of time. I like knowing the rewards for the quest, it's fun. Yeah, I really am glad there's a journal thing here that was added as a plugin, because it just makes it a lot more. It keeps track of everything a lot easier, I'd say. I think that's essential for a game that's got side quests and rather than just one linear story. Like in Final Fantasy games, you don't need a journal because it's just one linear story, really. But this is different. There's going to be a main story, but there's going to be a bunch of side quests too. So it can't, although it's a JRPG style game, it's got a Western RPG feel, like within this way. It's kind of a combination of both. I mean, do you guys know any other JRPGs that do this sort of thing? They have a more Western, like, sort of mechanics. Silent and Last, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. We're getting stuck in Silent. If you want to take part in the polls, feel free to. We have 2 polls today. What should the forest dungeon south of Lakefall be called? Which we're going to be doing today. I've totally not planned anything about how this dungeon's going to look though. I really want to put some thought into this. I don't want to just do it recklessly. So I'm probably not going to make much progress design wise with this dungeon today. I'd say the bulk of it's going to be Wednesday. But I really do want to start adding the enemies and thinking about the battle system and all the juicy stuff this week as well. And then poll 2 is about what sort of battle encounters should we have, random or on-map encounters, and that links to that. That's a voting only poll, just like the silent protagonist poll we had a couple of weeks back. And I put the pros and cons of each of those in the chat too. I love giving my cat bits of ham. Oh, really? Oh, that's cute. I like kitties. Every time I do, she looks at me like a person who would have just won $1 million. My cat was obsessed with catnip. That was her favourite thing. She was a little stoner. Bless her. But yes, so yeah, that first part is we're thinking of names, and it's a pleasant forest. It's not a dark, dangerous, creepy, haunted one. It's a very, as you can see, Lake Falls, a very summery, very nice, lovely place. So we're thinking of nice forest sounding names. With that then, because yeah, nice forest ones. And I'm just considering how Carol the Barrel can pop up, really. I'm thinking of because once we've accepted the quest, which is here in the inn, dialogue done, and I did consider what you said, Silent, your little tip in Friday's stream about the dialogue, and I have actually done that because I found it a little bit jarring as I was reading through it in the test play. So I did to get rid of the sorry bit. And it sounds a little bit more natural now. But yeah, so this is the way out, and Carol the Barrel has to join us. There's no such thing as an adventure without Carol. And she could either pop up here, but the barrel's going to have to be somewhere else. So maybe it would be here if that happened. Or the hero could actually start walking across the bridge and she pops up here. Or we could do it that she comes when we're actually already in the forest. We could like transfer to the next screen and then Carol can be like, hey, wait, or whatever, acting like the Sundeer she is, or however you pronounce that word. So what do you guys think? Do you think Carol should stop us and interrupt us while we're still in Lakefall, or should it happen when we've left the village? Because it's pretty awkward to think how she's going to approach us on this map, especially because we don't have a walking animation for Carol at this point in time. I gave a tip. Yeah, you did. It was about Nigel's dialogue, the guy in the inn. And I considered it and thought, at first I wasn't sure, but then I thought, yeah, actually, that makes sense. So I did change it. What do you mean by Western mechanics? Well, you know, like games like The Witcher and general MMOs and what else? Skyrim is another, Elder Scrolls games. They have like a quest journal, most of them do. And that's because they have a lot of side quests other than their main linear main quest line story. Whereas games like Final Fantasy and was Persona similar in that way? I think, yeah, Persona didn't have a quest journal either. And a lot of other JRPGs I've played have tended to not have a quest journal. So this is our quest journal in this game. It's pretty empty at the moment. So, because we haven't got any yet, but eventually it'll be jam-packed full of quests. And I was just curious if you guys know any JRPGs that have this kind of system, because I can't think of any. Not the JRPGs I've played anyway. Chrono Trigger does, and they all just follow a linear storyline. And a lot of the Western ones I've played seem to be more open-ended, not as linear, and they have a lot of quests. They're very quest heavy, rather than just a linear story. She can come from under the bridge, and you could hop inside and fall down the waterfall in her. Oh no. Carol in the water, she wouldn't like that. She'd be getting all salty. Just imagine Carol having been thrown into the lake by some children, falling down the waterhole. Guys, you want me to animate the most difficult things, don't you? Final Fantasy 12? Final Fantasy 12 has a journal system, does it? That is the Final Fantasy I didn't play as much of, so that explains why I didn't know that. Phantasy Star 4 has a lot of side quests. Oh, hang on, I forgot. Oops, I've left the music off. I'll put it back on now. Phantasy Star 4 has a lot of side quests. Don't remember if it had a journal then. Yeah. Final Fantasy has side quests, but they don't have a journal, so it can be quite hard to keep track of any sort of side things going on in that game. You always have to Google. Always have to Google it, which can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I think the journal is very nice for us organised folk to keep track of things. And same with the mini-map. But you guys do have the option to turn it off, as you can see. There's a button here that does that. It's like a little toggle button. Yeah, toggle's the word, not trigger. Silly me. And we do have icons to symbolise what each building is now too, just to make it easier. And that is something I figured would be more handy when we get to the larger villages and towns and cities. And even for our little bank building where all the raindrops are stored, there'll be a building for that too. For those that took part in the currency poll last week, you'll know what I'm talking about. But there was a suggestion about having a kind of bank where people work, and it's their job to collect the raindrops, because raindrops are our currency in the game. Liquid raindrops, actual rainfall is the currency of the game. Pretty bonkers, yeah. So it's a certain faction or group of people's job to collect these raindrops, because someone has to do it, right? And they store all these raindrops that they gather, whether it's in bottles or whatever they want to put them in. They store them in these buildings. Well, these buildings are placed all over the world in different regions, just like banks in our world. And people can go in and do jobs, side quests to get money / raindrops. That's how I see that working anyway. So as the way to actually earn money in this game, because there's no other real effective method of getting currency or money other than doing side quests for other people and them just handing you raindrops like you would coins. I suppose that could work too, but I think having an actual sort of bank adds a bit of realism as well. It makes it's not just like treated just the same as a solid currency, except the name is changed to raindrops or something. I'm not sure if they have a journal or not, but they have a lot of those hunter quests that you can accept, and you get rewards for killing the target monster. Oh, okay. But you're not sure if they have a journal. Yeah, that's what I was curious about, really, if there's any JRPG style games that have a journal. Because this is a JRPG style game with a journal, so. But anyway, yeah, I'm not going to do Carol today. I'm going to save that for later, and I might do that off stream. But it is worth considering how she's going to approach the hero. And I don't want to do it in too much of a complex way, because all that needs to happen is that she tells him to wait. She apologises for her rudeness earlier, but very reluctantly, and she basically then says to the hero that she has to come with him because they need to get married, because he's been inside her. And it's a tradition of barrel culture that when someone has been inside a barrel, they have to marry them. And the hero's just like, what the actual... There's no response from the hero because he's silent, but a little exclamation mark bubble will probably pop up a bit above his head, or some kind of reaction, or because that can happen in some games. Have like a little icon above the head to like represent emotion or a reaction to something. So that'll happen. The hero will be like, whoa, and then what will Carol say then? Hang on, did I make some notes of it? I'll just have a quick look at what would be covered. Yeah, and then she'll explain that she'll be the inventory of the hero, because that's Carol's job. She's going to come along and she'll be the inventory of the hero. That was silent and last submission on the poll. And although she's like, she's not like gonna be there, she'll talk to the hero and then she'll disappear again, and she'll be out of the way, but she will be there, if you know what I mean. And she'll pop up now and again and say something while the hero's on their journey. She's like a character that's stuck with you, I guess, for the whole of the thing, adding a bit of humour to the story. Because at some point there's going to be talk about how the dragons did this massacre, and someone will be like, I thought it was an army of barrels, and Carol would be like, no. I've got that dialogue set somewhere. So yes, at the moment I'm kind of thinking Carol should appear when we've left Lakefall. Let's just get this off. I just wanted to show you guys the mini-map and all the things that we've done up to now, just so you're updated. But we're gonna add the north part of this place, so let's just copy and paste this map, I think. So we got a new section now, and we don't know what the name of it is yet, so we're gonna call it question mark for now, as the name hasn't been decided. I can have a peek at the Discord to see how the votes are getting on. Yes, we're waiting for these votes, guys, but I'm liking the suggestions. Still early yet, still very young, this poll is, but tomorrow, 6 PM UK time, you will find out. And same with this one as well. Oh my goodness, it's actually not as, it's not running away with it as much as I originally thought it was. Interesting. New map, I know. New map hypo. But I've got these poll commands as a timer, so they'll be popping up in chat every so on, so you guys can vote. But I might randomly spam chat, as I always do with the polls. Been a while since we've had 2 polls in one day. Well, more than 1 poll in a day. I only voted for one this week because I don't like these submissions as much. Oh, don't you? Have you got any submissions yourself, Silent? Okay, so here we are. Right, now we got to think how we're going to make this work. The first thing that's popped into my head is, let's just... My goodness, it's going to look a big mess. Let's get rid of all these events. Imagine if I actually was deleting the actual Lakefall page. That would be bad. Okay, so this is going to be the north. The north. We're going to split into sections. We'll have north, west, east, and south. So it's probably not going to be very huge, seeing as it's the first one, but it's not going to be tiny either. We'll say. I will judge when we start. But one thing we do need to do is make sure that the very edge of Lakefall, where these bridges and waterfall and these little cliff sections, that it's the same. It's got to be the same. So it would be very weird if, like, we walked across the bridge and then all of a sudden there's no bridge or waterfall anymore. That'd be weird. Okay, we probably do need to move it a little bit further up. Nothing comes to mind yet? Can't rush? Yeah, no rush at all. This is why we had the polls open for over a day. Because ideas can spring to mind at a later time, for sure. Okay, so... Right, let's just look at Lightfall again. So we're going to have to do it, actually. That I want to make it match perfectly. So where these trees are cropped here, when we go to the next scene, this is where we see the rest of the trees. It's going to have to match perfectly. So this bit here is just a guide. This we're going to start designing it from this point, and then we'll crop these two little tile set squares off, and then that will match then. That seems like the easiest way for me to do it. Maybe there's an easier way, but I've not watched any guide or YouTube video at this point. I'm very unprepared today for this. If I'd have had more extra hours in the weekend, I would have had time to prepare for the design of this, which is why I'm pretty sure most of it's going to happen on Wednesday. But it'll be nice to make a little start, even though it's going to be a big mess. So, right, let's just get some plain grass down first of all. I don't think you guys have seen me do this yet, because I did Lakefall. I actually designed Lakefall before we begun these streams, so you guys didn't see me do the design of that. We need to find the matching grass. Actually, I can't find where it is, you know, which is weird. And there isn't an eye drop icon, so I have to find it myself. Oh, it might be this one. Nope, different colour. It's probably this one. Looks weird though. Or maybe that one. Let's zoom in. Yeah, I think it's that one. Oopsie. I mean, we could just paint the whole thing green. That'd work. Probably looks better than seeing the black abyss. So, right. Let's get the trees. We're gonna all these bits that are chopped off here and cropped, we're gonna add them now, and then we'll just shift it up to 2 spaces, and then it'll match perfectly. So we got a few different types of trees. It's going to be interesting to think how we're going to do this, because as we can see from Lakefall, this is a waterfall. So what we're going to see here is the bottom of the waterfall, and the start of a river presumably. So we're going to probably have that coming here. I would like to look at real life reference photo, because I think that could really help. It's pretty difficult to design a map when you've got no reference photo to look at, because it can also not look realistic and something can often look off about it. So I will probably go searching for real life reference photos. Even if you guys find any, that would be cool too. So I will probably be Google imaging forest waterfalls and stuff like that. This music's the Fisherman's Horizon and Final Fantasy 8. I'm a pro. I know all the musics. Okay, so have we done all the trees? I think we have. No. Oh, we haven't done that one. Yeah, so we've all the bits that were chopped off we've done. That was the first bit. I'm just gonna lengthen this a bit, so this song's Cosmo Canyon. Okay, so now we've done that. Oh my goodness, Masked Emerald, thank you so much for that. Right, how are you guys getting on? Did you have a good stream? Yeah, my alerts are playing up. The background has for some reason disappeared off my alerts today, so I was actually struggling to see. Hi Reillusion, how you doing? British Raid, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for that raid again. That is super kind of you to think of me again, Masked Emerald. Are you having a good Easter? Let's give you a shout out, Masked Emerald. Tell us how your stream went. Tell us all about it. Today, guys, in Raindrop Chronicles, we are starting a new map. We've got our little village Lakefall here, and we want to start the interesting bits, the dungeon, where we'll experience our first battles of the game. We're going into the wilds now. So we're designing the north part of the forest, because Lakefall's right at the north, and I mean, as you can see, there's actually more forest up there, so it's not north, if that makes sense. I'm not making sense. It's not north, but it's north of this area. I'm being such a weird rambler. So I'm just like, I'm totally unprepared for this. I've not had much chance to look into forest design this weekend like I wanted to, so we're just winging it. But by Wednesday I'm going to be a pro and I'm going to know exactly what I'm doing. I'm good. How's you, Rose? I'm doing good, Reillusion. Yep, stream was good, learning some new animation stuff. How's you? That sounds fab. What were you animating? King in the North. Is that how I say north? With an F? Yeah, I'm very like, that's one thing about my accent. I don't sound my THs very well. I tend to pronounce the Fs quite strongly. Just how it is, guys. My voice. Okay, so right, are we going to shift this up 2 tiles? Perfect. And the reason why we've done that is so it matches exactly all this section here at the bottom of Lakefall. We want it to match exactly. So where this tray here is cropped off is where the top of it is, if you get what I mean. And this tree here, you can only see half of it, but on this map you can see the rest of the half of it. It all has to line up and be perfect. Otherwise, that is not good design. Right, and that's the one thing I knew I had to do, and the rest, I think I need a reference photo now, because one thing I think I would like to do next would be to finish off this waterfall and the bridge, decide where the bridge stops. And then once we've done that, we can add all the little extras, the flowers, the rest of the trees, the cliffs, and think about, maybe not think about where the enemies will be yet, but I will like to consider that, perhaps, before we move on to the west and east side, maybe. Or maybe we should just do all the forest first before we think about enemies at all. That's how it sounds on the show, yeah. Us British folk. Was working on facial animations for my 3D models. I want to have a peek. I mean, if you're in the Discord, Masked Emerald, I'm not sure if you're in my Discord, but feel free to post screenshots of your stuff or any videos if you want. We do have like a lot of Discord channels that'd probably be relevant for that. We've got random snaps, and we've got a video game discussion as well, so that could work. Just if you wanted to, that is. So if you wanted to share your stuff. Hi Gal, welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, we only speak English here, so I'm very, very sorry to say I will have to give you a timeout, only because I don't know what you're saying, and because it's not a language I understand. It could be something. You could be swearing at me for all I know. You could be saying I'm a evil witch and I wouldn't know it. So yeah, I'm very sorry. I mean, I understand we just speak English here. And Moonshadow, how you doing? Look at you, sipping on a drink, minding your own business. You having a good Easter, Moon? I hope things are going well for you and your start of the week is treating you good. Hi Twinsy. Yeah, I'm in there during the first time you came by. Oh, that's awesome, Emerald. Sometimes I lose track of who's joined and who hasn't, but I'm glad you're with us. But yeah, totally feel free to share your stuff with us if you wish. Nanny, hanging in there. Oh, well, I'm sending you my hugs, Moon. We're just having a nice chill Monday stream today. We're designing the actual forest dungeon area of the game. This is like the area where the first ever battles will be happening. So it's all kicking off now. It's all happening. And guys, we do have some polls. Totally up to you if you want to take part in them, but they're always fun to do. It does involve being part of the Discord though, but they're super good polls today. What should the forest dungeon be called? This is this one here. So yeah, guys, if you think of any awesome names for a foresty dungeon, then that is the place to go. And the other one is whether it's going to be map random or on map encounters for the battles. If I get the Discord up, you'll be able to see more of what that's all about. But we definitely need the votes. At the moment, it's 3 to 5. 3 to 5. So, yep, on map encounters is currently winning. But it's not super close or anything. It's not wiping the floor with the random encounters. And I've just put some pros and cons about random and on map. Why some of them are good and why it's not good. So I don't know what your preferences are, but a lot of JRPGs nowadays seem to be on map encounters. Random encounters seem to be less so. But Chrono Trigger was on map encounters, and that's an old game. But for the nature of how that battle system worked, it had to be like that, I guess. And the other poll, how are we getting on with our submissions? We got quite a few. We just need some more votes on them. But these polls are open for another day. So we got plenty of time. But I haven't voted yet. Okay, here we are again. Let's save. Okay, right. I need some reference photos. It's going to be very hard to. I mean, I could just practice, but I could just like randomly place tiles anywhere. But usually, when you do that, it doesn't end well. Because one thing we do have to do is create depth with this map. And that's going to be a challenge too, because there is a waterfall here, where the waterfall ends. So these are going to be cliffs on the left and right hand side. Or yeah, maybe here as well is maybe it's just like a U-shaped cliff. It could be that as well. And then no, it can't be U-shaped because it has to be a river really. But there's no reason why the river couldn't continue on the lower plane, if that makes sense. Doesn't have to be on this map. And it probably would be on the lower plane because, yeah, we have to create depth with this one. It's going to be a tricky one. I'm not I'm not like a pro map designer or anything, but let's make this a little bit. Let's make it a bit longer so we get some no, don't get rid of our bridge. Well, we'll just put the bridge back. Something doesn't look right about the waterfall, but it probably doesn't because it's not animated like this, but once it's actually in game, it'd look better. Okay, so that is the end of the waterfall there, but that's not the right colour tile. Because it looks of a darker brown. So we need the one that's the light brown. There better be one. Because it looks like that's the only one. If that's the only one, we're going to have to manually edit it in Photoshop so it's the right colour. Oh, okay. In Lakefall, we actually didn't have the rocks at the side. So that, we'll do that. I'm 100% going to look at reference photo because I know this is going to end up looking weird if I don't look at a reference photo. That's better, I'd say. Because, yeah, we don't have the rocks at the side. I prefer that. So that does mean, I think, we can't. No, something about it doesn't look right. We're trying to come up with a name for a forest dungeon. We are. And it's a nice forest dungeon, Moon. Like, we've... it's very sunny. It's very pleasant. It's not creepy or haunted. So we're coming up with nice forest names if we can, guys. No creepy sounding ones for this one. We might have a creepy forest in the future, but right now, not this one. This is a nice summer's forest. Very relaxing stroll with very sweet, kind monsters that are level 1. It's a very nice place. The nicest place you're going to see in this game. First name that pops up in my head for some reason is Wicked Forest, but I guess that doesn't fit for Nice Forest. Yeah, Wicked Forest. That's why I had to put Nice Forest as the description for the poll, because I knew you guys had come up with evil sounding forest names. I just knew it. I could read your minds. I mean, it's always fun. Evil forest names are more fun to think of. It's actually a hard, like, I always think overly pretty names. Like, my idea was Everbloom because it sounds very floral and pretty. Like, a forest name that there wasn't anything bad going on at all. That's a good one, Moon. I definitely want to see those suggestions there. But you've got time, guys. No rush. You've got until tomorrow. Because I know some of you can't think yet. Thank you for the follow, Smith. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Okay, so this is tricky. I'm going to have to play around with the waterfall tiles because something ain't right with them. The colour of them isn't right. And I don't know whether that'll look different in game. But, oh, okay, that matches. Right, that makes sense. It was a different colour. For some reason, the bottom of that one isn't there. Oh, okay, has that worked? I think it has now. No, we have to just find... This is going to be a challenge because we have to create depth. And that's why we're really jumping into a tough one here. And I need to see pictures of waterfalls. I need some waterfall pictures. The hardest bit is actually going to be the bridge because it's going to be thinking, where's it going to lead? I'm thinking the bridge will probably stop somewhere round here maybe, or here. And maybe the waterfall river can continue like somewhere. I don't know. But it'll be on the lower plane where the river continues probably. I want to make it make sense. I don't want it to be... I mean, I know this is fantasy and it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. But I do want the maps to at least make a bit of sense. If they can. Harmony Forest. That sounds... How about Nice Forest? Guys, where's the creativity? Nice Forest is cute. There is a place in France called Nice, isn't there? But that's not how it's pronounced. I'm sure there is. I've been cursed. My creativity is draining away. Super mega cute and adorable forest. Imagine it, Lakefall. And then next scene, super cute mega adorable forest. Game trolled. Just kidding. Rose Garden. Wow. We do have a Rose character in the game. But when is she going to appear? Who knows? Is the bridge coming down the waterfall? Doesn't that mean that the bridge is like really up high? It is. Because Lakefall is like, obviously, judging from this, higher up than... This is what I mean about we're going to have to create depth somehow with this map. Because the waterfall and the river underneath it is like on the lower plane compared to where these bridging cliffs are. So we've got the start of some cliffs here and we're going to have... So all this is out of a higher plane. And so it's going to be challenging, but I'm definitely going to need some sort of reference photos. So yeah, the bridge is higher up. That is for sure. Nice is pronounced Nice. I thought so. Map should fit the world lore story, really. Yeah. I think that's important. I mean, we don't want... I mean, this is why we have polls, because I know that the most creative and intriguing sounding names will probably be the ones that be the winner most of all. But, yeah. We got Lakefall, which is a really simple name, really. It's just... It fits because it's a lake with a waterfall. And, I think the forest and something that just sounds really pleasant would work well to go with it. I mean, it could be ironic because we all know it isn't pleasant here, really. There's been a damn massacre. I mean, look. So there is a bit of irony behind it all. There's been a massacre and it isn't the most safest of places or the nicest of places, really. But I find that the contrast of the niceness of this place and having the nice names is quite ironic and interesting. Lakefall Forest. Could do. I mean, it'd be nice to have something that's a bit of a different name to Lakefall rather than just with Lakefall with Forest at it on the end. But it's not, I mean, it's definitely not a no-no to do something like that. But so it's just intriguing to see what names you guys can come up with. Like, judging by the trees, isn't this waterfall like the size of 2 or 3 trees? Well, it depends how big the tree is. Like, we've got this tree here. But yeah, we need to figure out how long it's going to go on for sure. Like, right, let's just get a pond here. It's going to be hard to identify. Why is it all a different colour? Right, that's the right colour. We've got it. I'm just going to put a random circle here for now. I mean, this is the problem. We need to create depth, and I'm almost thinking, how the heck are we going to do this? Because right now, something doesn't look right. But looking at reference pictures is going to be a massive help for me because it's really difficult to design something just without having some sort of reference in front of you. But let's get the bridge back. Oopsie. Oh no, we're not going to add that because we're... Okay, so I see the bridge like leading to a cliff, and this cliff is higher up. It's sort of a higher level, obviously. And this water, this like little bit of water here, is much lower. So this is why we need to create depth somehow. And I suppose we just need to make them look like cliffs. We do have, let's see what tile sets are available, because we do have some cliffs and stuff here. So I suppose that could be done with something like this. Like, ignore this for now because it's messy, but I picture something like that happening where you can see the cliffs. That could help create depth, if you get what I mean. Just having the grass doesn't. But yeah, that could work. But I need some sort of reference picture to see how it can be laid out. Obviously that looks really messy like that. But yeah, definitely making use of these little cliff sections, I believe, could do that. Final Fantasy 11 music. Was it Final Fantasy 11 music? Yeah, there's a few I don't recognise because I never played 11. Judging by the appearance, that's like a 50-foot waterfall. Yeah, you think? Where would you say it would stop then, this waterfall? Because it could go on for as long as we want it to, guys. Let's look at the possibilities we've got here. I mean, we could have it go on that long. But we could have it just be short and stop here or here or here. What makes you work out that it's super long? I want to know how Silence Mind's working here. But we've done the easy bit. Where these trees are cropped here, I've made sure they've matched up so that all the maps seamlessly get put together like a jigsaw puzzle. That's very important to do. So that's done. But yeah, the hard bit is now this crane depth business. But I might just start putting in some cliffs to help with that. We're definitely not going to get anything past a first version today of this though. Oops, we can't go back, we can't undo. Because I'm not a pro at map creation, so I'm going to need some time to gather some reference pictures and get this hat looking exactly how I want it to look. What colour cliffs do we have? Yeah, we have the pale brown cliffs. Because that's how if you can see that there's depth here, and we've created depth from these cliffs. And you can easily see that this section's lower than this section. So it's easy enough to do. Have we got any cliffs with water at the bottom? That's, I think, where we're struggling, because the problem is if we do this, we've got grass at the bottom of these ones. We need cliffs with water at the bottom. I might need to manually edit some of them. Yeah. Yeah, the only cliffs we've got, not you guys, it's probably small for you guys, but they only have grass at the bottom. So I will have to go into Photoshop and add these cliffs tiles with water, because you know what I mean. Even if I press shift, you can see the grass, and yeah, it kind of ruins the look. Some tile sets do have cliffs with water underneath, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the edge at the end of that cliff and add a little bit of water over it rather than the grass. And that will have to be done in Photoshop. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Looks like an exclamation mark. But yeah, exclamation marks are becoming a theme, because that's our main quest icon as well. It's the view. It gives the appearance of being super tall. Well, it's because waterfalls go down, not sideways. But with bird's eye view, some things are flat and other things are more sideways. It's closer to isometric. Yeah, it is, because it's not like from a top down. It's like you're seeing it from a yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, isometric's probably the way to describe it. I feel like the bridge going over the waterfall almost makes it look like the bridge has collapsed and fallen down the waterfall. Okay, I'm going to need to see some sort of images. I really believe I am, because that is the best way, like replicating those images with what I'm trying to do. But it's trying to find something similar, like a waterfall. Like, it's very rare to find bridges going over actual waterfalls, I find. Most of the time they go the other direction, but I kind of liked that it was kind of weird like that. It made the place a little bit, it gave it kind of a unique, unusual look. Thank you for the follow, Goblin, I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what you mean. The waterfall almost makes it look like the bridge is collapsed and falling down the waterfall. Yeah, it does at the moment for sure, because there's no depth to it. But it's very hard at the moment to create the cliffs, because the tile sets aren't set up properly. There's only grass tile sets here. So anything that I'm going to do here is going to just look super rough at the moment. Hang on a sec. But that's just like an the first thing I can think of to help create some depth. I'm gonna just roughly put it there for now, and then later on I'm gonna, because it'll be so much better having these end by smoothly going into water rather than having the grass there. But at the moment I can't design it like that, because the tile set always puts grass there. Even if I press shift, there's still grass there. So I will have to manually edit that one, I'm afraid, just like we did for Mr. Colonel Blunders. Also, damn it, we've there you go. So yeah, it's going to look much nicer when those annoying grass pieces are gone. But I think there needs to be more depth than this. This is just an idea of what we can do with it, but we definitely need to make the cliffs larger. I think maybe even up to here. We'll see. That's what I mean though. I assume the bridge is flat, so that would imply the bridge gets very high in the air over this little spring we are making in the middle. Okay, let's just get the bridge back, because it's hard to, when it's just that little bit there, it's hard to even know. So I forgot to add the piece that, you know, comes to land. Does that help at all? It stops it from looking like it's just stuck there. Yeah, we're going to have to do some clever work with these cliffs, I think, to create the illusion of depth. I might have to look at screenshots too. I mean, the end of stream is nearing, so just so you guys know, between now and Wednesday's stream, I'll probably look for some reference pictures of waterfalls. I might even create this off stream and get like, I might like to have something final to show you guys about for this area before Wednesday, but we'll see. I definitely want to have more of an idea, put it that way. Looking at the pictures will definitely give me a better idea about how waterfalls should look and how we should create the rest of this area. I gotta go. I've got to get a run tonight. Catch you next time. Max Daniels, thank you again for the raid, and have an awesome week. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Yeah, I definitely feel it has to be, the cliffs have to be pretty big. I know that this is rough, but what do you think about that kind of, do you think more or than what it is? You could put a shadow of the bridge on the pond, depending on how far the shadow of the bridge is in the pond would imply how high up it is and help give depth. Yeah, because I know what you mean. Like this, the cliffs do help to a certain degree, but something still looks off, and it's probably because we've still got a lot of there's something still not quite right, and this is where the reference images all come in and help, because that's when you go, oh yeah, that's what's missing. We need to add that. And just that one little thing can make such a difference. Like even just adding these cliffs have made a difference, and it's definitely not there yet, but it's 20% there compared to 0% there. And so yeah, I'm gonna go for image hunting after stream. And yeah, I really would like to, I would love to get this done for Wednesday, because we've got the other sections to design as well. This is just the north. We need to do the west, the east and the south as well. And yeah, so we got a few little bits to design, but this is definitely the most challenging bit, because it was always going to be very challenging to do the waterfall. I knew that. I was always thinking, how are we going to do this waterfall? And the time has come. And next time we can start considering other things that forests have, like how we can make the other scenes look. And I know that there's going to be a cabin and a lake where the quest leads to, because that's what the story submission, the winning story submission said. So yeah, we'll have to add a cabin and a lake somewhere. But it'll be nice to add all those extra details. See, the issue now is that the island where the lake for Elder Tree is connects directly to the bottom of this cliff, but the bridge appears to be straight, so it's a mind trick. Kind of makes sense to introduce one vertical cliff tile for every one vertical waterfall tile. Okay, let me think. For me, it's very difficult because I'm a visual learner and I'm not very good at reading text and when I read text, I always have to think, okay, I need to picture this visually in my mind. So just give me a sec silence to figure out what you mean. One vertical cliff tile for every vertical waterfall tile, i.e. the same height. Okay, so I'm not sure what you mean, Silent. It's really hard because I'm trying to imagine what you mean. So I don't know. I know that something's wrong, and I'm trying to figure out, and what you're saying probably is the answer, but I wish I got what you were trying to say. Just make this smoother. Okay. Another thing, I feel like there has to be a river as well, but I see it more, I don't know, let's get this pond. I see it more as the river wouldn't be going straight, or it's happening, the river is, but it's below, and we won't be able to see because there'll be cliffs in front, but there will be, imagine it is a river and stuff. It looks like you've already done this. What do you mean, Silent? The height of the waterfall looks like it's about 15 tiles long. Okay, so let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, it's 14. I think it's 14. Actually, it's really weird, this software, because it doesn't tell me. Like, when I've got it highlighted, there's nowhere that tells me how long it is, like Photoshop would. Okay, so yeah, that's the vertical length. So have I done it right? Is that what you was trying to say, Silent? Oops. Okay, so that we need a bit more there. If so, then I'm proud of myself that I did what you said. Okay. Yeah, we need to go 2 more tiles for that. It does look a little bit better. I think adding some cliffs now to this grassy blank area and sorting out, changing these grass bits to water will really go a long way for making it have more depth. And I'm going to look at some references. I mean, I'm even going to look at some pixel art references and retro game art to see how they deal with bridges and waterfalls and lakes and ponds, and just generally how they've created depth too. So yeah, exactly. So yeah, that bit's done now. Okay, so right, hooray! And Carol the Barrel's gonna pop up round here as well. She's basically gonna follow the hero across this bridge. That's what we're gonna have. Carol the Stalker, not Carol the Barrel. Also, guys, because stream's nearly coming to an end now, I am gonna just pop these polls in chat again, so everybody that's lurking and stuff gets a chance to have a vote on them. Let's see how they're getting on. Let's have another peek. Oh my goodness, guys, it's much closer than I thought it was gonna be. You know, I honestly did think that Map Encounters was going to kick its butt, but it's actually, Random Encounters are more loved than I thought. Nice forest. I like Random Encounters. My favourite games are Random Encounters. I just thought people thought that was dated now and irritating. But I guess it depends how they're designed. Of course it's irritating if the encounter rate's too high. Also, yeah, we don't have many votes yet, but I will be posting these on Twitter, and we'll hopefully get some more votes throughout the day and tomorrow as well. We've had more votes on this poll than we've had for our name poll. And don't forget, you can vote more than once on this poll as well. I can't believe it, guys. I was absolutely famished. My tummy's been rumbling for the last hour and I never went to get any milk. Okay, so let's go back to what we was doing. Right, so I kind of knew we wouldn't get very far with the forest dungeon design today. I knew most of the stream would be taken up discussing the polls and those sort of things. Oops, why is this here? In truth, I was very unprepared for this. I didn't get much time over weekend to look for reference images and anything like that. But Wednesday we'll make much more progress with this, and there'll be another poll on Wednesday probably. Not sure which one yet, but there will be one. I tried using a screenshot to help explain myself with Discord. If you want to do that, that's perfectly fine, Sana. I love to see some screenshots. That will help me a lot because I'm a visual learner. I understand and pick things up way better from an image description and saying, yeah, that's what I mean, than from written word. Hiya, Flasher. Flasher, is that it? What are you doing? What are you using to make this game? RPG Maker MD. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a fabulous Monday and Easter, Flasher. Wheelo, welcome back. Did you enjoy your foods? Hope you enjoyed your foods. Okay, another thing, I'm probably going to do this. I mean, it's open to change. I'm not like committed to anything yet, but there's a chance I'll probably block this section off. because I don't like the idea of this section being that the hero can walk here and over there, because in a way that would mean they'd be able to go back to Lakefall that way, and I don't want them to. That people have to go across the bridge to get to Lakefall. They can't take any shortcuts. That's how the place was designed, and in a way it was protection from bandits. But ironically, I believe they've opened themselves up to more bandits by having a village that looks like this. I mean, I guess you could think as long as the bridge is well guarded, they'd be safe, but look at it. Bandits can jump down from here. There's still a forest north of Lakefall as well. It isn't just the one down here. And maybe that's another thing to consider, where the bandits came from. Because I could see us doing a little flashback cut scene in the future showing how what happened when the dragons attacked. So I wonder if they did. I wonder if they got some ropes and ladders down and climbed down this way. Or I wonder if they went across this bridge and attacked them that way. All the choices restore the story. It's fun. I want another Chucky egg. How many have you had today so far, really? Is it possible to contribute somehow? Yes, I'm going to send you the command, Fletcher. That will take you to our tweet. We do have a Twitter for the game, and it'll tell you all about it and how the community get involved. Basically, what we do is we all vote on polls together. There's a lot involved. I mean, we all do vote on polls together on the Discord. We're doing that today, actually. We have a poll here where we're deciding the battle encounters we're going to have, whether it's random or on map. And we got 4 votes to 5 on that so far. And we've also got a poll for what we're going to call our first dungeon too. And you can also be a character in the game, but you do have to get a certain amount of hours in stream before that's possible. And these are the characters we've got so far. We've even got some character sheets for them. I design a character sheet for each new character we get that's one of the people in the community. I'm a bit more into programming. That's cool too. This isn't really heavy programming. It's more about the whole creative process, really, of and the storytelling. Don't all bandits live in tree houses? Maybe. Who knows where the dragons live? 3 so far, 1 big. Oh my goodness, you've had 3 in one day? I won't lie, I struggle to eat more than 1 egg in a day. I guess I'm not as much as a chocoholic as I thought I was. I bet you're shocked. Well, we'll be looking into it. Awesome. Yeah, like this project is like for people that love RPG games and world building and lore and all the fun things about making a story, and is like that's what it's about really. But obviously some programming and all that's involved to put it together, but luckily with this software RPG Maker it doesn't make that too intense. Okay, so this looks a bit let's get it back up. This looks a bit weird so far. It's very square and we don't want that look, but I do think that does help create depth to some degree. So what I'm planning is, just so you guys know, is having some more like cliffy stuff going on here, and I think that way will lead to the east side, and that way you'll lead to the east. But yeah, we've got a bit to do. Pretty bare at the moment, still in its very early stages. But I'm hoping on Wednesday, and then Wednesday we'll be making far more progress on this, and we'll have a more or less finished forest section, because I really want to get a lot of work done on the other sections of the forest as well on Wednesday. And then on Friday, hopefully more about thinking about the enemies and battle system. That'll be really fun, I think. Okay guys, so I'm probably gonna be finishing up very soon. We did start stream a little bit later today, so it does seem like a slightly shorter one than than it usually is. Usually we go over 3 hours, but we're a bit under 3 hours today. I just want to make sure I haven't missed anything, and I don't want to forget anything important. The main thing is that I hope you've all got a voting on the polls. Because that is what's important and so much of where the story goes. Okay, Silent Lost has put a map in the Discord here. Let's have a peek. I think the reason why there's no corner bottom of a cliff tile is because it implies a different height of a cliff if the cliff isn't already perfectly flat horizontally. Maybe try squaring the cliff off where I've circled. Cool, awesome. Which I definitely plan to do, because it looks weird, I must admit, like that. And unfortunately, there's not much I can do at the moment because there isn't a tile where the cliff ends in water. So I'm going to go into Photoshop and I'm going to edit that tile and replace the grass with water. So there's more of a seamless, between the cliff and the river. The little pond or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that is definitely a bit that needs editing, and I'm going to smooth these cliffs over a bit so they don't look so square. And I'm going to add some more cliffs here too, and that'll make a huge difference. So guys, I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for the screenshot, Silent. That's helped a lot. And if you want to do that for anything else, or that's totally fine. I really appreciate the screenshots because I understand more from looking at pictures than the written word. Okay guys, I'm going to say bye to you there and wish you all a good Monday evening. I know that I'm going to be having an awesome Monday because I'm going to be eating chocolate and watching Game of Thrones. That's like a perfect day. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Kung. Thank you for hanging out and being fabulous and contributing to our polls and stuff. I appreciate you. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Silent. You guys are the best, and I will see you on Wednesday, and hopefully I'll have a bunch of stuff to show you. Well, at least a bit of an advancement with this map. I want you guys, I'll be like, guys, here it is, and I want you to be like, wow, that looks awesome. That's what I'm hoping. So first thing on Wednesday, that's what I'll be showing. This map all done, or more or less nearly done anyway. So it's kind of like 10-20% there at the moment. It's going to be 100%, well, 95 to 100% done on Wednesday. And I will be designing for the rest of the stream the east, the north, the south, and all the other bits of the dungeon, and we'll be thinking of making sure it's all designed well and that nothing's going to annoy the player and it's a good design dungeon. And then we'll be thinking about enemies, but maybe we'll be thinking about the enemies more on the Friday, but we'll see how it goes because it's really difficult to plan and know 100% what we'll be doing because sometimes you come across little hurdles. But I'm also going to make sure that the Carol the Barrel dialogue is, well, the first draft of it anyway, is ready to show you guys on Wednesday as well. So that we'll try and make that dialogue awesome. Silent and Lost and Rex helped a bit with that dialogue. They come up with some good ideas for why Carol's stuck with us, and it'll be funny to add that in. And Andy Cake, how are you doing? We're just about to leave. Missed your face. I hope you had a good Easter, Andy. How's it been? I hope you've had an awesome one. I've got so many eggs to eat. It's brilliant. I'm going to be full of acne because I'm going to get breakouts from all the chocolate I'm going to eat. But green tea does the job of getting rid of all that. Okay, guys, so I'm going to say my goodbyes now. I think now's a good time to close things up, and it's almost 6 p.m. and almost time for me to go. I miss you. Well, I won in an egg standoff, did you? Did that mean you won an Easter egg? I hope so. Because you deserve an egg. A chocolate egg. Okay, guys, have a good day. I miss you all. Bye-bye. Thanks for hanging out, and don't forget to vote on the polls. I'm going to just put those commands in chat again, leave you with them. For any of you that haven't voted, that'll be awesome. Bye.